Hey there, my name is Ax. I'm an entrepreneur with a PhD in human computer interaction, and I've been working with AI for over a decade, designing experiences ranging from fun side projects to products at Apple, Amazon, and other startups. This is Everything is Design. So I'm sitting in community college and chemistry classroom in Maryland. I've been in the States for a couple of months, and it's a bit midterm. I'm kind of nervous, and I see this multiple choice question, and that says select all the homogeneous mixtures. The options were salt, water, air, and rocky road. And I start panicking because I'm like, what does the road have to do with chemical mixtures? So I'm a 20-year-old refugee from Baghdad, and I've never had Rocky Road. I see the disconnect between me, what I know and my experiences, and the teacher who created this test and assumed that everybody in her class has had some Rocky Road. That's a design failure, and we see those all around us when the creator of a product doesn't really fully understand their users. Because here's what I realized: that test wasn't really broken by accident. Somebody made a choice. Somebody made choices to make this something. And these choices are what we call design. I spent months during my PhD trying to define design. I studied human computer interaction at the University of Washington, which has one of the top five HCI programs in the world. And I distinctly remember walking around in the quad of the Seattle campus, and it was raining, it was wet, and pretty sure it was cherry blossom season. And I was stuck on this questions like, what is design? And we've been reading a lot of, like, dozens of papers that are very academic, long and hedging about, oh, it's this, it's that, it's all encompassing. And I came up with this definition that really clicked for me, is that design is the intelligence behind creation, which is still pretty academic if you ask me. But it wasn't until a few years later when I came across a quote by Steve Jobs that said, design is not what it looks like, it's how it works. And Jobs is much better than me at marketing and making things sound great, but really it was saying the exact same thing that I had came up with. And once you start seeing design this way, you start seeing it everywhere. So let me show you what I mean by with a couple of examples. People are really hating on AI these days. It seems like every time I mention it, my comments get like super negative. And I think I know why. So whenever I post about AI, probably on Threads, it doesn't matter what I'm doing, like I've saying a tip or just an observation, my comments go like super negative right away. Like, AI is garbage, stop trying to make AI happen, AI slop, whatever, this and that. And number one, thanks for the engagement. But then number two is, I think the issue that these people are facing, because they've been using AI for decades, whether it's Google, autocomplete, spell check, that's all AI. And I don't think they hate that. I think what they're really frustrated by is one of two things. Either they're like overwhelmed with AI slop, or they try chatbot and they ask a question and the AI might have given them a technically correct answer, but chances are it missed what they were intending to do. They didn't get what they needed and they got frustrated. But here's the thing, it's not mostly an AI problem in the sense of, like, it's not the model's problem, it's more of a design problem. These products were designed based on the opinions of its creators. And while customers sometimes are included, and there is some research that's being, because of the speed that these companies are building those tools, doing really deep and detailed user research is not really feasible for them. So sometimes what they take into account might be what some users might be saying, but not really what they're meaning. And a lot of the work is ended up being based on assumptions, which, from my earlier example, is how design fails. This is the same gap in my chemistry test. So what do we do with this? The next time you're building something or making something, really doesn't matter, as long as you're giving something to somebody else that you really wanted to land with them, whether it's a product or as simple as an email. Try to flip it around. Write three things you assume your user already knows, and then question each one of those and try to find those blind spots that we often miss when we're trying to give something to somebody else. Here's the thing, you're always designing. Every email, every meeting you run, you're making choices that shape somebody else's experience, and you don't necessarily have the same experiences and knowledge that they have. So the question whether or not you're designing, because you are, the question is who are you designing for and what do they know? And that's really what this show is about. We're going to look through the world from that lens, experiences, products, decisions, everything we encounter in our daily lives. And we're going to try to see what are the assumptions that were baked into those designs. So once again, my name is Axe, and welcome to Everything's Designed.